All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second part of the Deeper Conversations podcast with me, your host, Matthew Silvers. Today, our guest is still Jay, and we are going to go back into some deep topics. So let's just get straight into it and have a good time. Um, okay, let's keep this rolling. I want to ask you, and make it quick, but because I know we kind of asked this on the live, but I want to add it into the podcast, so it's kind of here.
Yeah.
What do you think? Who do you think is allowed to use the N word?
Um,
Because I know you have an
so
interesting take on it. So,
right. So to be completely honest, I grew up in a neighborhood with Puerto Ricans. For me, I think it was a lot about the culture in which we grew up, that the word was used indiscriminately between blacks and Puerto Ricans and other Afro Latinos. That was just something that was a part of my world as I grew up and sort of learned a lot more because I'm black, but there was still some learning I had to do. And so as I grew up and learned a little bit more, I understand how it can be problematic. However, I am less offended when people who are of a particular culture say it. I am never okay when a white person say it, ever. There's never an okay scenario in my mind that I'm just like, oh, cool, they grew up in the hood. Never. But I think it's because like they don't sort of they're white. I don't like I don't have much. I wish I could say here and give you this long reason and why, but it's like
no, but I
I
love that
think
you're not because it literally is that simple.
it really is.
You
It's
don't gotta
like
think about it. You're white. Don't say it. Don't
yeah,
um like lip sync it. Like there's no
yeah,
need. However, I did now that I have you, I have an interesting question for you.
sure.
Okay, so there's a song, Best Friend. Have you on
Yes.
TikTok? That's my best
We
friend.
yeah,
She don't need no man. Or she don't. So okay, so that's okay. Those aren't the words.
right.
She says, that's my best friend. Uh she don't need no. And then she
Mm,
says that word. She doesn't
mm,
say the full thing, she abbreviates, but she
yeah,
says the word.
right.
And I never once have said it, but my mind automatically put in a clean version and I
Mm,
say, that's my best friend. She don't need no man.
yeah.
Is that okay? Or because the
Yes,
original word is the N word?
that's
Okay.
in fact the best possible scenario. Like you're flowing, you're enjoying yourself. You
Yeah.
want to put a word there. I know plenty of people who literally just get silent. Like there's a person who's white who loves Megan Thee Stallion, who like is very all their friends are black. Um, they literally just skip it over when they're rapping. And it feels crazy because I can never see myself doing that, but also like, you know, that's
Yeah.
not something I've had to ever worry about. Um, but I think that that's the best possible scenario,
Yeah.
especially if you're like in a flow.
Right. Well, because most song, like I feel like the majority of the songs that it says the N word, which I don't listen to the like that music that often.
Mm,
Um, but that song particularly, it's such a good song, and I love Doja Cat.
mm. I
So
mean, who doesn't?
I know, so I've just been listening to it, and for some weird reason, like even the first time I had listened to it fully, I even said it over the word because I thought that's what she was going to say, and then I listened to it
Yeah.
without singing it, and that's I was like, oh, I didn't realize that's what she said.
Oh, that's what's
Um,
happening.
yeah, I was like, oh, interesting, okay. But yeah, I had never done that before. Like, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of songs where it is a couple of extra times, so it's like hard to find a word. But my brain really said
Do you say it in your mind?
no.
Really?
I've not when I'm singing it.
I've asked my white friends before. I was like, "Have you said it?" My friend was like, "Yeah, I say that shit in my mind all the time." And I'm like, "That's fair. That's honest." Like he's not saying it in a racist
Well,
way,
if
but like,
I think about because we're having this conversation right
right? Yeah,
now, it's like fluctuating, like floating in my brain.
yeah. So
But that's
I think
but what's funny is because people are different. There's I don't know if you've seen it. I have an inner voice.
everyone knows. Yeah,
Okay, and some people don't. some people don't even like see words in their head when they're doing like
Yeah.
speaking or whatever. Like I see it, I hear it. And so like it when like when I'm thinking of that blank, it comes in.
Mm.
But like
Yeah.
some people
And
don't.
again, I think that's a real. I think that that's a real response, right? And so, like
Yeah.
when I asked this friend, he didn't give me like the cookie
A
cutter.
bullshit
Oh,
answer.
I would never, Jay, not in a million years.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I say that shit all the time. Man.
Which
I'm like,
okay, so I
that's
didn't
freedom.
cuss
Yeah.
ever. I've never cussed prior to like 5 months ago, ever. I know. I know.
Wow, I let them shits fly.
And I was every time that word like cuss words would come into my mind, especially when I was listening to explicit music, but I would never say those words. Like when I was singing explicit music. Um but those words would fluctuate in my brain. And I would actively try to stop it. I'd be like, you can't say that word. I didn't even say it. It was just in my
Did
fucking
you grow up
mind.
really religious or something? Like this is
Yeah,
awesome, very
very,
where
very. Love that. I want one so bad. Jay
oh
just
god,
pulled out a fan just out of nowhere.
oh my god.
Um, but yeah, but I never, but like that, those words used to fluctuate through my brain. And obviously now I just say fuck it and, say cuss words.
As you should. It is
Oh, it's
so
very therapeutic.
it's fucking as fuck.
And I say, so people are like, you kind of cuss a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I have 20 years and 4 months to catch up on. I got a lot of cussing to do.
You a grown ass fucking man. Suck
This
my
is the
dick.
time where
I'm
you
gonna curse
shouldn't be
all.
crossing me because, bitch, I
No,
will fucking cuss you out.
this is the way I talk at work too. Like it literally does not change.
Yeah, I think I cussed a couple times at Starbucks when I was living here, and they were like, you gotta stop. And I was like, I quit. I was like, what? No.
I
Um,
love quitting jobs. That's such a good.
oh my God. I get nervous sometimes, but then I'm like, this is for me, it's a better future for me. I'm like, why am I
Yeah,
holding
I
back?
usually have something lined up, so it's just
Same.
like
Yeah. Oh my
I
God,
feel
I
like
would never quit a job for me.
everyone should have a moment where they quit a job and they're like, "Fuck you, I'm leaving." Like everyone should have that "fuck you, I quit" conversation at some point in their life.
Oh yeah.
I had one. I'll tell you a story. I work for a security company. Don't judge. It was a very short time in my life, and I had to park a certain amount of blocks away because the parking on these was for the employees that work in the building. Whatever. It's raining really hard. I had trash bags that I used to cover my uniform as I'm walking to work. I get to work. I'm drenched. My shoes like had water in the soles, so much to the point where it was sloshing as I was walking. So, mind you, I hadn't even been there 2 months. And they were like, "So you're on round, so you have to walk the whole building." I'm like, "I'm going to walk the building with my shoes sloshing like this. Like, give me a second to figure out how I'm going to dry this and do so something." He's like, "Nope, you got to do it right now." And I was like, "Okay." I went around, I did the rounds, but it was only to say goodbye to people who I had become friends with. I walked right through the lobby, right down to my locker. I changed into my regular clothes that I had in my locker, grabbed all of my things, walked upstairs, and I dropped the uniform on the desk and I said, "Fuck you, I quit." And gave them the finger as I backed out and put on my sunglasses with my other hand and ran into the door. But the effect was there.
I love that's such a movie moment though. I've had a couple of movie moments in my life. My coming out, one of them. There's another high school story that I'll have to tell at a different point, but that one's been my
tell our
biggest
coming
movie
out stories?
moment. Huh?
You tell our coming out stories because I have a really great one.
Do you can tell your coming out story?
Uh, my coming out story was unlike anyone else because I had, like I said, incredible support.
Yeah.
I was living with my dad at the time, and me and my brother were watching something on MTV, and it was when MTV was really being like gay conscious for a while. So everything was like gay programming, and there was a lot of support and everything.
Yeah.
So my brother had made a comment that was it was really homophobic, but we were also like 16, right? He's since evolved, thank God. But
Yeah.
I remember like going into a fit and storming upstairs to my room, very dramatic and gay like, and I slammed the door. And he came up not even 2 minutes after me. He goes, "You're gay, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, you know, you have to tell dad." If I knew what I knew today, I don't have to tell anybody shit.
Yeah.
But
What the fuck?
the next day rolls around, and I remember him down the hall, and I was lying in bed, and I was looking down the hall, and he points to me, and he was talking to my dad, and I'm like, "Fuck," and I'm like, "I'm not ready yet." So later that night, I told my dad. My dad threw me a coming out party. Um, he invited a bunch of gay people, and it was he missed the
He
mark
invited a bunch of gay people.
of all. Like it was very very weird,
Did you
and
have
it was but it
sex
was
at your coming out party?
no, I did not. But it was very sweet. Like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And he cried from joy. Like he was. I think he was happier that I was gay than I was. And then he said, "You have to tell your mom." Everyone's like, "You have to tell somebody." So I called my grandmother first. I told her. She was like, "Oh, that's exciting," and we had a great conversation. I called my mom. My mom was like, the conversation was no more than 1 minute. She goes, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Nothing, mom. Are you sitting down?" She's like, "Don't be dramatic. What is it?" And I was like, "Well, I really
She
want to."
said,
She's
"Don't
like,
be dramatic with it."
right. She goes, "You're gay?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "All right, that's sweet. I have to go to work in the morning. I'll call you tomorrow." And I was like, "All righty."
She said, "I
But
done new, bitch."
right. And when my mom's a workaholic. I love her to death. But when I came home, not only did my mom take it upon herself to introduce me to the gay community in Philadelphia, but we did a lot of activism work with the trans community, me, my brothers and sisters. We went through a lot of classes about HIV prevention. So I was really fortunate that at a young age, AIDS and HIV was something that was discussed. It was talked about. Growing up in my mom's household, sex was a really open conversation. We talked about condoms. We talked about different types of contraceptives. We talked about dental dam
Yeah.
because that was a thing at the time. So sex was as every day as orange juice as far as conversation. Nothing was off limits. So I was really fortunate. And maybe that has a lot to do with why I'm so sex positive now.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so you're on TikTok. Have you been on TikTok the past couple of days? Like a lot at all?
No, I've been. I just finalized my divorce on Monday, so I had. It's all good. Anybody who's been married, you have this moment of thinking about the beginning. And believe me, I don't wish him death, but I can care less if he's alive or dead, if that makes any sense. Like he's just a regular person out in the street.
Yeah.
But I found myself thinking like I married this person thinking that that's it forever. And then it's not. And so I think it's a lot of internal reflection and that sort of thing. So I finalized my divorce last Monday, excuse me. And I actually just got the documents, which are sitting right over there today. So
Hey. Well, so there's this because I wanted to talk about it on a podcast, and it's already going to be later if I talk about it later. But there's this movement going around. We're going to talk about it really fast because I'm going to speed through it. But it's called the super straight. Have you heard about it?
the super straight,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Okay, so it's a new sexuality. It's called super straight.
It sounds annoying already, but please.
Oh yeah, you're gonna want your wine. So this super straight sexuality is a sexuality where they only date people of the gender, meaning that they only date other like a man would only date a woman biologically, aka they don't date trans women, who by the way are very real women.
I always say, and I teach this to all of my straight friends all the time. I say, trans women are women, trans men are men. If that's not your type of woman, if that's not your type of man, that's fine. But what's going on in their pants is none of your business unless you are about to be intimate with them. Because that's, let's keep it real when it matters.
Right. But so yeah, there's this whole sexuality, and it's basically started from this guy who is very transparently transphobic. They have a flag. The flag is black and orange, aka Grinder and Pornhub colors. and they decided to put the super straight acronym SS in front of LGBTQ community. So now it looks like we're in a fucking boat. We're the SS LGBTQ. Like, get your ass off the boat. We don't want you here.
The super straight, that is dumb.
It's dumb. Somebody posted a video. It was my favorite thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He said, listen, I don't support the movement, but if you are really going to come out here, this is the name that you choose. He said, that is the gayest thing I have ever heard. Super straight.
It really is. I mean, honestly, I can't even tell you how many super straight men have sucked my dick. Like, it is wild.
Same.
Okay, sis, you're super straight. That means you're the top. Got it.
Yeah, like, what do you want? Like, I don't know what they're trying to achieve. Like, they're trying to, and then all the comments are, you can't get mad. You're using the same logic against us. Like, this guy that I duetted on TikTok today got mad, and I was like, it's not the same. He was like, no, it's just like how I'm not into men. Like, I'm super straight. And I was like, no. I was like, if like, you're not gay, that's fine. But there's a term for it. It's straight. You're just transphobic. Like, you want to be like straight, that's okay. Nobody's faulting you for being straight.
Like, listen, girl, I want to be straight, but I also want to be a part of the movement. So I'm just going to stash my name onto it too. Like, the fuck, be an ally, bitch. Like, do you need?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, how hard is that? Like, and so I just like basically went off, and I was like, you want to be not like, you don't like, it's not the same. Like, you not dating gay people is because you're not gay. Or you dating the same gender is just because you are not gay, and that's okay.
I will tell you, speaking of straight, I mentioned that I slept with straight men before, whatever that means. I realized that I realized that I've never enjoyed bottoming, right?
Okay.
So over the last 10 years, my sexual tastes have changed dramatically where I won't even bottom at all. It's not enjoyable. It hurts. It's just not, like, it really fucking hurts. It's not a great time for me. I've tried to breathing exercises, ain't enough gun oil, ain't enough lube. Like, it's just not going.
I tried water aerobics.
Like, it's not fucking working. Except that one time when I gave myself an enema in a hot tub, but that's another story. A joke too, because I seen your facial expression. And so I realized that I was living in a small town for a couple of years when I first started sleeping with men. And a lot of them were in the closet or homophobic because they were teased about being gay, whatever. Like, this small town gave me hell. But when I would be intimate with these guys, they were so far in the closet that bottoming was just completely out of the question. So to please them, I would bottom, not having a good time. And I thought that's what bottoming was. Like, I didn't know it could be this super enjoyable thing, right? And so as I got older and started really claiming autonomy over my body, I was like, you know what? This is not working for me. I just kind of went to just giving and getting head for a while, and that was great. But I was like, I also want to have sex. I want to stick my dick in somebody. I want dick to be more involved in what it is.
Yeah.
And so, I'm sorry, I'm very graphic.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
And so,
you've seen one tick, you've seen them all.
Right. And so at this point, it's like bottoming. It's so, I don't enjoy it. I think I am a slip top. Although I hate that term, because if I suppose if I meet the right person, or if they're small, like a eraser that costs 5 cents, that could work. But it just does not seem enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
At all.
Huh. Okay, well, because I know that this is. Oh, well, let me finish this conversation and then we'll go straight into the.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Straight into that other.
Also,
stuff.
Can we? Once you finish this, can we take intermission? Because I do have to pee. I've been drinking wine.
Yeah, I'm dead. Do you want to go now and I'll just talk about it myself?
Yeah, I'll listen.
Go for it. Take a 5. Take a 5.
I just Not even that long.
Oh my god. So yes, there's this super straight phenomenon that is going around on Twitter and on TikTok, and I've been speaking about it or speaking out against it, excuse me, because it is blatantly transphobic and it's not okay. And it's also not okay because obviously it is kind of mocking trans people in general and making them feel invalidated, but also it's homophobic because they don't realize all of the stuff that they're saying, like, all of a lot of the comments are, you can't use that logic against us, like, you used it against it, like it's really dumb, and they don't understand, apparently. They're trying very badly to be oppressed, but they don't realize they're being like homophobic and invalidating uh, any of the LGBTQ plus community, because they're just saying stuff out of character and not realizing that we do have repercussions sometimes. We're yelled at, we're mocked, we're kicked out of restaurants, we're kicked out of establishments, we are killed, we're illegal in 74 countries. My God. So they don't realize the repercussions of what they're saying. Like, there's so much more to it than just like saying, like, I'm super straight. Like, it's invalidating an entire, I mean, basically the entire alphabet mafia. So, it's bad. And if you're a part of it, please do not come at me and be a part of my community, because I don't fucking want you. So let's get back to it. Let's just talk about, I want to talk mostly about the end. But let's talk about your marriage.
Oh, yeah.
How
So
long were you married for?
I was married for 14 years. Um, 14 very long years. I would always say at this point, we probably should have broke up 5 years prior. It should have only been about 10 years. I think we reached our expired date. Um, yeah.
So why did it end?
Um, so it ended because of two things. One, our sexual compatibility has changed, like I mentioned earlier. Um, Being a bottom no longer served me. It's just something I didn't enjoy. I never really did enjoy it. He said he wanted to try it, and we essentially over the years switched. Um, I'm not tooting my own horn or trying to be braggadocious when I say that I am large. So it's not something that he can take so easily. So as our relationship evolved, we've been together, 9 going on 10 years at this point. We're like, what do we do? So we started with threesome, which was really exciting and really fun. And then we started venturing into doing things without each other. It got to the point where intimacy no longer involved us, um, which, again, at that point, this is, you know, year 10, 11, um, is a lot to deal with. So we kept on sort of going. We would have these intimate moments, but it always felt like a chore, either to him or to me. So it just wasn't there anymore. I went to South Korea for work. Before I left, he got into a really bad car accident. Fractured ribs, broken leg, broken arm, like really, really fucking jacked up. He was in hospital for like 2 months, and walking was a task for him. Like, I immediately flew back home, made sure it was okay. This was before I actually left for Korea. We sat down before I left, and I told him, I was like, I feel like something's changing in our relationship, and I no longer want to have an open relationship or an alternative relationship. And the shitty part about the whole open relationship thing is that he was extremely private. I'm an open book. I even looked like a cheater for the sake, or somebody seeing me for the sake of making him look like the good guy, right?
Yeah.
Um, I took a huge brunt of that because, and mind you, the open relationship was his idea. Again, before I went to Korea, I had this conversation with him, and he was like, "I think it doesn't make sense why you're going away for that long." And I don't blame him. I blame both of us because, well, I blame myself because I had a choice at that point to say no or go along with it. But in my thinking at the time, I was like, I love this man. This is my husband. But I also know I'm going to get horny. If I have a path to do that, I'd be a fool not to take it, right? But again, I just wanted him. It wasn't about anyone else. I could have went however long just for him. Um, so we set up boundaries and ground rules. And one of the things that I think is so important to mention for people who've never sort of seen an open relationship is that I also never thought I'd be a person in an open relationship. That's number one. Um, Number two, just because we're in an open relationship doesn't mean you can be sucking and fucking with everybody. It's very important to have conversations, have ground rules, have boundaries. What's okay was not okay. And while I'm okay with my, you know, and this is not where I'm at today. I have no desire to ever be in an open relationship again. But for me, at that point in my life, I didn't care who you fuck. I just didn't want you dating anybody. Um, so going out, that sort of thing. And I FaceTimed him one day, and he had someone not only in my house but in my bed. And he was on FaceTime when he was talking, and I realized the door was shut. And I said, "Hey, why?" Just as I would normally question. It was something that was out of the usual. Um, he avoided a question, and then I started adding things together. Well, when I first called you, I went to voicemail. When you finally called me back, you were in the bathroom. As you're walking by, I see our bedroom door shut because that's the bedroom right there. So he came out of the bathroom on that side and walked this way into the living room. When you wake up, take a piss, you go right back into bed. Nobody just goes and sits on a couch. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was all these things that were just out of the usual. And then he finally told me, and we have this. Well, I blew up. I was like, I don't give a fuck who the guy fuck this guy is. He got to go now. But I also had to be nice because I'm out of the country and he's at the house with all my things. Um, so it was a really tough thing to go through, and I think that's why it was so hard, the divorce, um, because it didn't have to be that way. I there were several points where I could have stopped it, and it's not that I blame myself. And I will always say he was a good guy who did a bad thing. That's unforgivable. I had very specific ground rules that are very easy to follow, and is less about fucking somebody and more about, are you putting that emotional thing behind it. So inevitably, after that argument, I was like, you know what, you got to go. Um, I remember because I was like, you can take everything. I don't give things. One thing I've learned in my life: things will fucking trap you. I don't care. You can take everything out of this house. And he was like, well, I don't want it. You can keep it in this and that. And I'm like, I literally don't care. As long as you're gone, I'm fine. Um, and he was moving into his new place, and I was like, you know what? Here's $2,000. Move out today. Get your shit. Start new. And he left, and that was that. Yeah, it
How
was.
what kind of month, year did he leave? Like walk out
It was
officially?
on my birthday. I was December 18th, 2019. Yeah. I don't really celebrate my birthday anyway, but it was always kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
I I would never forget, and I never said anything. This was during the time we had an open relationship. It was my birthday, and he left to go meet up with a guy on my birthday, and I don't even think he realized. Like, and I was just like,
You think
I
he
mean,
forgot
again,
about your
I
birthday?
I don't fucking know.
Did he
I
call you to
honestly don't.
say happy birthday?
We were living together, so I'm sure he said it throughout the day, but it was like,
Wait, you weren't I thought you said you were in Korea.
no, 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 no. When the cheatation happened, I was in Korea, but this happened a couple of years prior.
Got it.
Um, and it was like, I don't know. I mean, I was a lot of it was embarrassment after the fact. Um, that I allowed myself to get to that point. Um, that I and I mean, even if any of my friends listen to this podcast, like we were couple goals. Like people admired us. We were the gay couple that were together since forever. We had the house, we had the car, we had the dog. Like everything was fucking meant, and that was that.
Was there any conversation about kids before you guys kind of for lack of
Early
words,
in our
exploded.
relationship, early in our relationship, there was a conversation about kids. We knew we wanted kids at the beginning, and then I didn't want to love anybody more than I loved him. I didn't feel like I wanted to be a dad. Um, and at this point in my life, I still don't. And I think if my mind was to change, I would want to be a single parent. I don't want to co-parent with anyone.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with another personality.
Yeah. You said you would never be in another open relationship. Why?
Just because, so that was my first open relationship. Um, I do believe that people can have them successfully. So I'm not at the place where I'm like, they don't work. There's no way it could ever work. Of course not. I think that people can do it successfully. I think that if that line of communication remains open, it can be done successfully. But I think for me, I want to either do one of two things: either have fun, date fast, date light, go out to cute dinners and that sort of thing, or just you. And when I make a person my world, you are my world.
Yeah. Which I think is interesting because I do want to clarify. I think I said this in a podcast that's coming out actually this Wednesday. By the time you see this, it'll be like 3 Wednesdays ago. But I stated something about an open relationship, the fact that I don't really like them. And I felt
Mm.
like they hinder me trying to be in a relationship. And I know some of you probably don't like that. And I completely 1000% like understand. Like it's weird because like I'm so my body, my choice. And I'm like kind of being like, I fucking hate open relationships. I hate fucking people in open relationships. Like
Yeah.
so annoying. Like I feel like they're taking someone from me that I might date. Bitch, I would never date that person in general. Anyways, like, and it's like that thing where it's like it's those super straight people. It's like if you're gonna say that shit, they don't want you. Like the trans
And
community
I
doesn't want
think
you
for some
anyway.
people, when you think about open relationships, it's just sex. Or even consider this, right? If you're sleeping with somebody and I don't know what you're into in bed, but if they pull out like whips and chains or a dildo or whatever have you, that extra person is just a tool in you guys' sex life, right?
Yeah.
It's when it becomes a crutch that you need to step back and say, I need to re-examine some things. And that was the thing for me, right? Here was a person who I was in love with, who I was dating. And over the course of the years, our sexual compatibility had changed. I take ownership on my part of that because it was mostly me, which is crazy because now I hear he's the bottom these days, but whatever. But it's like that had changed. And so whenever we were being intimate or wanted to be intimate, it was always reach for the tool, reach for the dildo, reach for the straps, reach for, another person.
Yeah.
The intimacy and my justification, and I said this plenty of times, and I feel like a fool, my justification was we don't have sex often, but we stimulate each other in other ways, which was true.
Yeah.
But also I need sex, right?
Right.
I love sucking dick. If you don't like your dick sucked, I don't think we're going to have a good time too much. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I like my nipples sucked on. If you
Yeah.
don't like nipples, like I mean,
Yeah.
you need to be on the same page sexually.
Yeah.
Very few and far between do you find a person who can make you forget about those things.
Which is why like my statement on open relationships, like I don't love them. I really don't. Like I would never personally be in one. Um However, if you're in one and it's working, great. The funny thing is, like, and I can't even say, anything about open relationships because I can't say anything about monogamous relationships. Or I guess it's not polyamorous, but like, just like regular monogamous relationships. Why? Because you know what? I have never heard of a successful um gay relationship. I've not even been around, like, I've never been around someone who's been in a successful open relationship.
Yeah.
I've not been around someone who's been in a successful regular monogamous relationship. I
You know
probably
what's
shouldn't say
crazy?
regular. It's not that it's
A part of me just went into instinct mode and was about to say, no, they could work in the same third. And while I again stand by, I do think they can. I the natural instinct in me wanted to defend it, right as you said that. But clearly, like I said, I got my divorce papers right here.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Well, I mean, you have who's in media that is what's his face? I love him. Oh no, he goes to Disney so much. Oh God, what's his name? A famous gay male.
He's gay and he's in an open relationship.
Uh-huh. Oh my God. Oh, this is killing me. What's
Neil
his name? I'm gonna
Patrick
Google
Harris,
it while you
possibly.
think. Huh? Neil Patrick Harris.
They're in an open relationship.
No. They are in a
Oh,
successful gay relationship. I was just trying to
oh,
think of anybody in a successful gay relationship that I've seen in general, like or been around. He's the only one I can really think of. I did meet someone who has been in an open relationship, and they've been together since high school. I think they've been together for like 4 years now,
hmm.
or maybe it's longer than that, like 6 or 8 years now. Um, and I don't know the behind the scenes. I don't know if it's working or not, but I mean they've been together for 6 or 8 years, so I mean, whatnot. But I don't know. I've just never really seen it in
Hmm.
general work out for any gay person, and I'm just
Yeah.
like really trying for those love stories because
I I think I am dealing with somebody now, and I think I'd like to think we're pretty successful. Um, I mean this is still developing, and we're still working through it, but I we're happy.
okay,
I
so
am
you are dating? Is
Yes,
dating? Okay.
yes.
So you're dating, and the only reason I say this, one, because I don't know his name. Two,
We're not going to say his name.
we're not gonna say his name because we're keeping an
Right.
anonymity. Sure.
Anonymous.
We're gonna
We're
keep
keeping
him
him anonymous.
anonymous. It was the sentence that I was trying to use. That's a word though. Anonymity, I think is what I don't
Yes,
know.
that is a word. Yes.
Um, and third, because this is what I feel like you referred to him or some, I don't know, you told me or something. Um, so you're dating a white guy.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Which is the
um,
first time I'm dating somebody who is not a person of color.
okay.
I've been attracted to all different types of men. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. A breathing man is a good man. Uh, so I can care
If
less
you've got a
about what's
mouth and you know
happening
how
on
to
the
use
outside.
it, we're good.
Basically, but it's my first time dating somebody who is not a person of color, and culturally, there's some things that I'm learning.
How long has it been
Um,
going on?
since June,
Okay,
June,
and where'd you guys meet?
Tinder actually.
Ah,
Yeah, we met on
okay.
Tinder. He was funny story. He was driving through on his way to his brother's wedding, um, and that's when we started messaging. He was in the back seat, and we started talking, and yeah.
How far is the distance?
Oh, about 2 hours.
Oh, okay. And do you guys see
Yeah,
each other pretty often or?
yeah. Every weekend, every weekend. Like I said, I moved to Germany. He decided that he couldn't come. So we're in a process of sort of revamping whatever our relationships look like. But I did mention I do not like long term. I do not like long distance relationships. So I made that very clear, and I think right now we're still working on what it's going to look like. But yeah,
How long are you in Germany for the near future?
I'm moving indefinitely.
Got it.
I have no intention of returning at all.
Got it. Dang, you ain't even come see me first.
Let me tell you something. I've been wanting to. I was a teenager and I was invited on a reality show. This was like before wig pulling and drink throwing, right? This is not like the real world. Like this bitch talking about. It wasn't that type of show. It was educational. It was public access TV. It flew to Ireland, lived with other Irish students. It was beautiful, the time of my life. And since then, that trip taught me two things. One, coming from where I'm from, that the world beyond my community and neighborhood, excuse me, really exists. The second thing it taught me is that it is accessible. And so as I grown up, I looked at different places in Europe, and obviously my lifestyle changed, and I I found that Europe is definitely where I want to be. Um, and so I started making it happen. As a matter of fact, my husband was coming with me. And again, this is not at all what I thought this journey would look like. But I'm sacrificing everything. And I was telling a friend the other day, I don't know why I feel it in me. I have to do this, but I have to do this. There is no other way for me to live my life. If it all does not work out, because I want to open up a bar over there, if it doesn't work out, I have to go and I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
There is no other option. I am willing
Yeah.
to give up everything, my stuff,
Yeah.
relationships.
I'm that
There
same
is
way.
something in me that I have to do this. And so, um, yeah.
Is he pretty on board, or am I allowed to keep that
No, you can
private? Or
you can ask. So I don't. He doesn't see himself moving there.
okay.
Or at least not right now. Um,
Yeah.
and we love each other immensely, so that's not an issue. But it's the fact that we're one of the things I sort of explained to myself was that I'm still I know while I know who I am, I'm still on a journey to figure out what my life looks like, right? Professionally,
Yeah.
the environment I'm in, I'm still searching for that. He has found that. And so it's not to say that any one of us is better than the other.
But you're
Um,
on two different paths.
right. And so isn't part of being an adult saying, this isn't working, right? Um, that's the mature adult thing to do. And, we've had that conversation because for me, at almost 35 years old, which I'll be in December, love just isn't enough. That's not the fairy tale I live in. I know what I want, and I'm not going to sacrifice that. Like time is ticking. So if I meet somebody and I like them, I'm like, oh, okay, boom. Um, I'm not. I don't have time to mince words and beat around the bush because I got things I got to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the time to sit on the phone and, oh, I love you, I miss you all day. Like, and things get lost in translation in long distance relationship. It didn't work out with my ex-husband. I tried dating somebody else when I came back, and then they moved to the UK, and I'm in, America. It's not different states, sis. Like, different continents is hard. It
Yeah.
is hard fucking work. It's not like, oh, I can catch this flight on the weekend because I have the money, or I can make this 8-hour drive. No, because when you travel, you have to think plane ticket, hotel, feeding yourself, taking away the time from me that I could use to go back home and visit my family. Because you got to think, I'm also maintaining a job and trying to start a business. So it's a lot to do, and I don't have the mental bandwidth to put into that. Not only that, my heart literally can't take the heartache.
Yeah. And I just like the maturity and like that
Yeah.
comes with that is, so, and communication will always be my number one. Like communication is really hard for so
Mm-hmm.
many people when it really
Yeah.
should not be. And it's so easy to be
And
open,
it gets
honest.
harder when it really matters too. Like, I mean, this is a person who, this is a person who I love, a person who I care about, a
Mhm.
person who I started to build a life with in my mind. And it just didn't work, or is not looking like it's working out that way.
Yeah.
Um, I, I will say that I do even feel a bit of a shift, in our conversation. And, to be honest, it probably is on my part, but I also feel confident that I said everything I can say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But he's the best guy in the world, though. Like, I will go on to say that he is the best guy.
Do you guys still do weekends though until you
No,
leave?
no, no. I've just been incredible. Like I said, I'm moving on almost the other side of the world. Like I have important things I got to get out the way.
Mm.
Um, Deciding what's going in stores, what's coming. Like I said, while me and my ex-husband were separated, I just also got the divorce. So like it's a lot of
Yeah.
sort of things happening.
Going through so much change right now.
Yeah, yeah. But what's the beauty in that? I get to go and start the life I've been trying to
You get to
start.
live your life. I love that.
Like, and oh, that's the thought I didn't finish. When I went to Ireland and growing up and sort of my taste changed, I knew I still wanted to go back. I was married. This is the person I was with, and my ex-husband was a mama's boy. He could not leave. Everywhere we moved was like 2 blocks away from his mom, 3 blocks away from his mom. She was a sweet woman. Don't get me wrong, and I still love her. So there's no shade towards her or the rest of the family. But I was tied to him in that way, so I didn't want to pull him out of that. And then when I seen the opportunity, we come to Texas, and that's where he jumped off the ship, and I was like, okay, see you. Let me keep going.
Yeah. So
And like,
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, no, that was it.
So you said Europe. What made you specifically choose Germany, or did it kind of just fall like that?
It just felt like that. So job opportunity. I don't share what I do for a living. If you know, you know. But it's it's um it's a lot I can't say about my job, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
being vague
got it.
about that. Um, so my job landed me an opportunity to be in Germany. So I took the opportunity to do it. Yeah.
So
So
you're
Germany's
staying
acting
with the
as
same job, but they're letting you transfer to the place in Germany.
correct. Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if
Yeah.
it was like a
Yeah.
different job opportunity or if it was got it.
It is
A
somewhat a
slight
different
job
job
title.
opportunity, but the
Got it.
same sort of umbrella.
Got it.
Same field, if you will. Um, and so I'm going over there not knowing my coworkers, really starting from scratch, not knowing the language, not having any friends, and so it's exciting, but I'm also scared shitless. And to
I
sort of
assume
like
you're
do a
gonna
little
learn.
plug, if you will, I started writing. I used to do podcasts. I've been
Yes.
doing podcasts for about 6 years.
Plug all your
Um,
shit. Tell them all.
yeah. So I was doing podcasts for about 6 years. I since stopped. You can still find some of my shows somewhere in the ghost land. I think there's some on iHeart, some on SoundCloud, some on Apple Music. Um, but I was constantly looking for a co-host, and I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to just fucking do it. I'm a creative. I like to put my voice out there. I like to put my life out there. And so I switched from podcasting because it's less of an obligation and went solely to writing. And I launched my website in 2020, jcbean.com, JAESEABEAN. Or you can just Google that, and the website is down to come up along with some of the
And
shows and some of the
all of
stuff.
his shit will be in the description of the YouTube and
Yeah.
a link tree or something.
Oh, I don't use the link tree. I just found out what that is like last week.
I'm
Look,
dead. We'll put it. I'm gonna put it. Will.
yeah, I
I'm
will
still
say
more human. I'll put it in the description of
yeah.
the like Spotify and stuff where you can find at least a link to somewhere we can go and find all of
Let me
it.
tell you something. I am so excited to say I am Googleable, and it's not because I am like super important, but it's because I chose a very original name. For anybody who's marketing, always choose the most original name you can think of because when people search it, that's exactly what comes up
People
and
search
nothing
my
else.
name and they find a naked guy that literally runs around naked all the time. Literally, couldn't
I
tell you.
will be looking that up in a little bit.
Not joking.
But
I'm
but
like, oh, he's not even cute. I'm
yeah.
like, come on.
But yeah, I started writing, and I'm just kind of like telling my story. I haven't written about my ex-husband yet, or I don't even know if I really want to do that. Um, I've also been putting out little projects here and there. I've been doing this one called After the Beat, excuse me, where it's like voice messages that kind of mean different things to me. Sometimes I have people call in, sometimes I get them off my phone. I have two out right now. One is I really love the first one. It's called Messages at 438 feet or something to that effect. And it kind of starts off really happy and fun and kind of gets more and more serious. Like some voicemails, those people called me to inform me a loved one had died. Or it was I have this one great one where it was at the beginning of COVID, my friend calling me, and he had only been in the house a month, and he's like, "I gotta get out," like, and so like part of voicemails I feel is lost, right? Nobody's leaving voicemails. If you don't pick up, fuck it, I'll send you a text message. So I kind of wanted to sort of appreciate listening to someone leaving a voicemail that is there for all eternity. So I have that one, and essentially I want to put it on vinyl so I can listen to them and maybe someday make some for other people.
That's fucking everything. Wait, I
Yeah, thank you.
love that. I love voicemails, but guess what? I don't have Peep to send me voicemails. Nobody fucking cares.
I'm telling you, I I've been going back. I went so I don't delete anything off my phone. I paid for several terabytes of the cloud, so I don't have to worry about like memory. So I don't delete voicemails. I don't delete. Only text message stream I've ever deleted was of my ex-husband. Um, but I don't delete anything off my phone. So I was able to kind of go back and see all the voicemails
Yeah.
throughout the years.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool. I love voice.
Thank you.
I love when people save voicemails. I went after the Twitter thing, I quote unquote pretended to be dead for 3 days, and my sister sent me a couple, and they sound like I'm literally dead. Even though she knew that I wasn't, and she was like, I love you. Just speak to me whenever you can. Like, I love you. I was like, oh my God, am I dead? Like, am I really dead? I was like, I have dead
Maybe you should
relatives.
listen to my most recent one. Maybe you'd like that. It'll probably,
Oh, I love
I
that
don't
stuff.
know.
You know I will. I love that shit.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like I was saying, I am. My plan is I want to write in an honest way. Not always put myself in the best light. Just tell the truth. Only thing I intend on changing is names in some locations for the sake of not being sued because I want to go into that much detail that I want to protect myself should anything come back. And at some point, I want to turn this into a book, thus me blocking off access to just anybody going and reading. So I definitely urge people to jump on board now, read what you can, let me know what you think. Yeah,
Oh God, I love that. So ultimate goal, bar in Germany and being able to write.
yeah. So writing is a hobby of mine. I may want to make it into something. I have no idea. I'm really allowing myself, while I know what I want, I'm allowing myself to also figure it out. I love whiskey. I love bourbon. I love scotch. If you see, I have my gentleman, yeah, my gentleman Jack, and I have my Glenfiddich in my decanter. But I love whiskey. I love bourbon. I love scotch. All the dark, my fave. I also love reading, although I haven't read lately. I love reading. I love books. I love the history of books. So I kind of wanted to combine the two and open up what I call the whiskey library. Um, and I'll take you through the visual experience, right?
Oh my God,
So
please do. Should I close my
the
eyes?
outside, if you want, the
Okay.
outside is going to look like a small bookstore,
Okay.
but maybe about 5 to 10 feet in is going to be a wall that you realize is not an actual row of books, and it's going to open up into a doorway. And when you walk inside the building, there's going to be a huge room, um, floor to ceiling bottles behind the bar, and it's going to have one of those rolling ladders that they have in libraries. Each communal table is going to be one of those really heavy wooden ones with a green lamp on it, and the ceiling is going to be uh, almost cathedral, old school library type stained glass window. Um, and then there's going to be private guest suite for if you want to have like a party or something. And on the wall is going to have a lot of authors, famous authors, and each cocktail will be scotch or whiskey based. and they'll be named after famous books. So you'll have like Frankenstein's Monster, The Tale of Two Cities. The whole idea is to have a place where you can go, enjoy a great cocktail, enjoy a great drink. My target audience is not, while I don't mind the rambunctious crew, I want it to be that place that people are like, before we go out, we got to go to this place first. It's going to be an experience. I also planned on having a vaudeville type stage in there that people can feel free to perform. I kind of want to attract a lot of musical students. It's going to be open mic every night. We're going to have a grand piano, so if you know how to play, you can jump up on stage and play for the people.
Wow.
And if no one's on stage, we'll just have some music playing.
I'm obsessed with that. I love that. Is there any, like, is it happening in the near future? Like, do you know, like, have you?
I'm giving myself 4 years total to make everything, well, to at least be on the road to make shit happen, right? 4 to 5 years. If by year 4 I'm not where I want to be, then I'm looking at if by year 3 I'm not where I want to be, or I haven't really made any real progress in that direction, I'm going to start opening up my plan to more options. Coming back may be a possibility, but again, I have to do this.
Yeah.
If I don't get out there, if I don't figure this out, I've been married since I was like 18, 19 years old. Like, this is a year later when I finally have the papers, like, this is the time I've got to get out there and figure it out. And that's the one thing I want to say to your listeners, like, I live with the idea of like, oh, I'm too old for that. I have this figured out. I'm this amount of years old. You're never too old to figure it out. You're never too old to say, you know what? Today is the day. There's a movie called Vanilla Sky, which is a remake of a Spanish movie called Abre los Ojos with Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz. And he says in the movie, I will never forget, every passing minute is a chance to turn it all around. And that's the thing. Like, this moment that wherever you are, you're driving your car, you're sitting in your room, in this moment, you have the chance to be the person you want to be. All you have to do is do it. It is not easier said than done because you need to start somewhere. The road may be long, it may be tough, but I promise you, as a person who thought they had it figured out, but in 2019, everything fucking goes awry. You can do this. You have to do this. There is no choice but to do this. Today is the day.
Amen. Stop running from your past. Stop running from your past self. Stop running from fears and bad and negative thoughts. Run towards your future self. Run towards your goals. Run towards your ambitions. Run towards your, just run towards your future and not running away from anything. You need to start running
because I am scared. And that's the one thing I am not afraid to admit anymore. I am petrified.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it.
Those moments are so great when you fear something so fucking much, even though you know you want it. Like, there's where the adrenaline comes in. You know you're gonna fucking do it. You know you're gonna do good. Like, it's gonna be challenging as fuck. Like, nobody said it was gonna be easy, but it's gonna be fun as hell.
Oh yeah, it's good. This shit gonna be a good time. Like, weekends in the Czech, fucking going to Prague, which is like a couple of hours, Berlin a couple of hours, fucking France is a couple of hours, like Europe, everything is there.
Are you going to be allowed to say specifically where you're going?
No, I'm not. Well, I mean, I can, but I just, want to keep some level. Yeah, I want people to also keep up with my writing too, because that's where I'll be documenting a lot. I'm not saying, subscribe and check out every little thing. It takes some time to write sometimes. But keep an eye on me. Make sure I'm okay. Send me some words of encouragement. Send me your story. Those are the type of things I need because I'm going into a place where I have no fucking clue what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've had a lot of fun. I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Before we exit, are we dating?
Am I dating?
Are we dating?
Who, me and you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. Are we? Wait, what? Is that a question you ask everyone?
Uh-huh.
No.
I love I love how blunt it is. Well, no, like, so I ask
A
who
blunt
are we dating
question.
just to gauge the reaction. You never fucking know. You never know where it's gonna come from.
I think also because it leaves a person question. Wait a minute, are we?
You really had to
No.
think for a second. You were like,
Yeah, I had to think. I'm like, wait,
both
I
of
don't
us?
think
I
so.
was like,
I think
do I
if we
have to
were
say
dating,
goodbye
there'll
to
be
someone
more
before I
things.
leave to Germany? Like,
No,
do I
where
have to
I would
Casablanca myself right now? Like,
right. I would say we're friends, and our friendship is new and blossoming, and we're figuring it out. And that's why we're all on this planet to figure it out and to have deeper conversations while we do so.
I love that. I'm so excited for our future friendship. Like, I love this so much. I hope I get to come to this
I'm gonna get
bar
you.
because this bar sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
And I'm really excited for your writing and to go check out oh shit, after the beep.
After the beep, yes,
After the beep. So thank you for coming on and chatting with me. I had a
of course.
ton of fun, and I'm sure people will be seeing a lot more of you, hopefully. Um, and probably more of us together. I mean, once you
Yeah, I
settle
mean,
down in Germany, I'm gonna, yeah, we have to. That
please,
sounds so fun.
please, let's let's do a checkup once I'm good and comfortable over there.
Oh my God, so excited. Or the time difference is gonna kill one of us, but we'll,
No, it's not so bad because of, around this time, yeah, it shouldn't be so bad. Whatever.
it's fine. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. It'll be like 8 o'clock your time. It'll be great.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been Deeper Conversations with me, your host, Matthew Silvers. Remember to Google it so you can see a naked man. And this has been my podcast with Jae Byrd. Go check out his shit, all of this stuff in the description. I love you all. You guys have a great rest of your whatever part of day.